Jessie. I grew up in Florida, moved to Chicago, started getting involved with SWOP Chicago, which was
We're ready for anything. Oh well.
So started organizing with SWOP Chicago, which was the first time I ever really felt comfortable being out as a sex worker at all. I had been an activist for years and a sex worker for years, and that was the first time I'd really put the two together, and I knew when I moved to LA I wanted to be a part of that again. So I was an escort for years, so that was a very formative experience for me, not something that I ever want to deny or pretend isn't a part of who I am.
Why do you think it's important for you to stay involved in the sex worker community even though you're not currently working?
Because I feel like even as a former sex worker or as someone not currently active in the sex work industry, it really did shape me, and it's a community that I still feel a part of. It's the only place where I don't have to be ashamed or hide anything about who I am, and you don't get that in other areas of activism.
At the same time, we gotta take care of each other and our own people in our own community, but also like being actively involved within our communities and showing that we're also not these ridiculous, demonized stereotypes that exist about us.
These are guys who grow up within this rape culture, who grow up within this like anti-prostitute culture. You see it in Hollywood, you hear it in rap music. You know, even though you're empowered and stuff like that, it's part of the dominant culture. So they're surprised that I'm smart, they're surprised that I can defend myself, that I go to my calls, you know, like by myself, that I don't, you know, that I have an education. It's very surprising that I have strict boundaries. You know, that I want to know their last name. It's surprising, you know. They're like...
That's sort of how it started and how I came to be here. I just think it's really important to have a strong sex worker community fighting for sex worker rights.
What is it like in Chicago, in SWOP Chicago?
There's a fairly small but really dedicated group of people who are all really supportive, really helpful, and doing everything they can. And it's really empowering.
What are some of the activities that they have there?
They have, you know, they're very active around December 17th. They were recently organizing a against End Demand campaign, which was following the Swedish model, which sadly passed, but we were very, very active in talking to different groups about what that would mean and what that would actually mean for sex workers as opposed to what that would mean for the rest of the community. It's just getting people involved, meeting new people, having one-on-one conversations, reaching out to people who might not consider themselves activists but are willing to come to a brunch, who just want to meet other sex workers, who would like not to feel threatened when they're on the job. Just bringing people in who might have a specific vision of activism that's not necessarily where we're going. I think communication and just personal conversations are really going to be key in terms of outreach.
When I think of all the people, all the brothers and sisters and others who are not with us today that are sex workers, I just think of them as our warriors, as people who've basically, you know, been on the front lines for our struggle, and we just got to keep them close to our heads and our hearts and our memories.
So I feel like a warrior all the time. I feel like there's a war going on against sex workers. We live and work in a rape culture. Sex workers are hated for the most part, even though people pay us to give them pleasure. There's still incredible stigma and a lot of violence and a lot of hatred, like just outright, you know, like negative, like just socially acceptable negativity. Like it's allowed to make fun of, you know, the hooker, or you know, people really believe that serial killers pick prostitutes because they're easy targets. Like, well, you shouldn't have been doing that work, you know? Like, it's really... And I kind of internalize that because, like, I've been robbed twice, right? And I'm like, yeah, I did invite that guy to my house, but, like, the little screening that I did, I Googled his number and he sounded polite. Like, that's all you have, you know? That's all you have to go on. But that should be enough. You know, I shouldn't have to, you know, fear that this person is gonna want to do something bad, you know, because I'm gonna be afraid to call the police or something like that. But it happens all the time, every day. So I do feel like if I've chosen sex work, I've also chosen it because I've chosen to enlist in this war. Because I feel like a warrior when I'm a sex worker, as opposed to if I'm just a regular vanilla girl. I'm just taking all of this rape culture and I have to endure it, you know?
Black
on black crime, yeah.
I need some more coffee. Seriously, I'm
like some
serious.
coffee?
Oh my god. I think the car's gonna stop by, but I want to get naked.
I like the lighting on you.
Don't do that.
Serious. I'll do it in the back of the truck and do some
No,
jumping jacks.
seriously, don't.